Good afternoon. Welcome to Beyond the Shears and the 406. Today, we're talking to Paule, who is an integral member of my team for sure. He's needed. I love to do hair and I love to be artistic and I hate technology. In fact, it's so bad that sometimes when I walk into the salon, the music will turn off.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I walk by and lights flash and
And I'm the guy that walks in and people have been whining about this one problem, and I do like this thing, and then it works.
right.
And
That's why I
everyone's like, "What'd
hired
you
you.
do?" I'm like, "I just turned this thing off, or I found this thing unplugged."
Right.
Yeah, the techie side. Yep. It's definitely part of the package.
Yes. So that's why I hired him. First of all, he is the whiz behind my website. Both of them, actually. He's all the bios for the girls on fabricsalon.com. And he manages the mischief that is Mirror Mirror.
I assist from afar. It's been honestly, you guys you were the first. I already had like a ongoing client that I was doing some marketing and development work with, and then you guys were around, and it was fun.
It kind of came together, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it helped me a lot just trying to figure out what I do to help people here. But
I think that it's kismet, honestly. So Alex started working here, and I was looking for somebody
remind me
to.
what Kismet is.
Kismet is almost like fate.
Yeah,
Like it was meant to be.
yeah, okay.
Because Alex started working here, and I was working with somebody in California with my other website when we were in the process of buying.
Yeah,
And you just kind of fell into my lap. And during the time when I bought the place from Lisa, you actually were in here with Alex one day.
yeah.
Lisa and I could not figure out something about the website or even how to log into the website. Do you remember what that whole catastrophe was?
It's coming vaguely. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess, and who had what account, and
Who
um,
had access? And oh my gosh, it was so
and it happened to
bad.
be on Wix, which my other client before my business was even a thing also was on Wix. So it was like I can help.
And
Yeah,
he did, and he really did, and actually it's like, I don't know, I feel like when you really focus on something, it fast forwards your progress, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah. That gave me goosebumps.
right, but I feel like that's kinda what websites do, so would you like
Mm,
to tell people why? And I mean, and you can even use examples of, like, how you've helped me.
mm,
You've done fabricsalon.com, Mirror Mirror, the extension lounge, you've done theirs, and then you've helped Lisa with some stuff for her education and
mhm.
Alex with some stuff, but let's start out with what you do just for fabric maybe,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all the stylists in here and why
yeah.
that's important.
So websites, I'm a big fan of. There's a phrase out there that says the internet is dead, and it's true. But that doesn't mean websites are dead. It just means websites have changed. And part of what's changed is that they're a lot more accessible to individuals and small teams. And if you know what you're doing, and it works with my authentic approach, but if you know what you're doing, you're able to create a presence with just a few intentional decisions and connections, and you can really start getting some cool results. I'm gonna actually start with your Mirror Mirror website because
Okay.
I didn't create that website.
No.
I took it over.
Yes.
And when I first took it over, I remember what you were paying for it, and I looked into the back end of it, and I was trying really hard to be really respectful, but there was just a lot of basic stuff not done. And so I help with some of like the basic technical behind the scenes stuff that people don't want to spend a lot of time doing, like entering all the alts and tags and different descriptions.
For somebody like me who's
Mhm.
tech-tarded, um, I
Tech-hearted.
what does that mean? What does all the back stuff mean?
Well, okay, so you know how uh, if you picture any platform you get into, right? Whether it's your Facebook, your LinkedIn, or if you have any kind of management system, you have all those little fields and drop settings and things that you can select. It's those things, they just have different labels. So like alt settings are the different description, the description that a photo has.
Okay.
The reason that matters is because if people are looking for things like, say, someone's looking for hair extensions, blonde hair extensions, and one of the photos on your website happens to have blonde photo hair extensions,
Mhm.
it's just more likely for them to pull up more results of your website
If it's
to
labeled that way.
labeled that way, but also because it's And this will, and I'll get a little bit more into how AI has changed the way search results work,
Mhm.
especially after Google was uh, demonopolized. That was too many syllables for me. But so what you can do with a basic website strategy, if you're authentic and you're thorough, and if you know your product and your service, how it actually matches a pain point with that for people, and then you're able to between the front and the back, and just make sure those basic dots are connected. And this is where my marketing company helps. Is like I help sort those basic dots, but you're able to create a system that people like you or individuals like, yeah, like my girlfriend Alex,
Mhm.
without too much work, can be maintained and managed. So a lot of the work that we've done in this last year has been like, starting from the beginning was like a lot of account cleanup.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
I don't think I've ever fully reflected how many hours I've bounced around trying to like figure out where all these accounts were for the social media stuff,
Oh, I
which
know.
I still sometimes something happens in my accounts from it occasionally. It's like, ah, but because I got roped into it somehow. But websites, yeah. So websites are just a cool powerhouse. You don't need to pay someone like me. You don't need to pay thousands of dollars for a website. You can, as long as you're authentically communicating in a way that people understand it
Mhm.
and that connects, then a simple website can get you like really far. Alex's, my girlfriend's website, is a single page website. There's no additional pages. The menu system just scrolls to different sections. And for me, it's a great case study of how a single page website can actually overtake nail salons, because she's not technically a nail salon, right?
Right.
She's a nail technician that works in a salon, but she ranks page one for nail salons in Missoula, and that's just kind of cool.
That's great.
Yeah, and I don't think she would say it doesn't take too much work for her.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also don't want you to so you don't need a website, but
Mhm.
why is a website beneficial for somebody in our industry? Why would that be beneficial? Why would it be
Yeah.
beneficial to pay somebody?
Well, why do you why do I pay? I think this is our second time recording this, by the way, right?
I
Is it still recording?
think so.
Sweet. Um, I don't. I used, I pay people to do my hair when I don't want to take care of the hassle or the
Right.
details, to get the back of my neckline, to do the things that I can't do well. I'm not much of a high maintenance hair guy, but like I still understand that. So I help. Uh, there's just a lot to learn. I get overwhelmed with how much things are changing. From Adobe Creative Suite to just how quickly WordPress or there's this other kind of phenomenon like where things are becoming like encapsulated within softwares, and then like AI is like, yeah, it's a lot to keep up with, right?
Mhm. And it's changing all the time.
Yeah. So a website, if you take the time and you do it, you can get some cool results, really effective, especially local.
Mhm.
Like local service, the face to face industries where people have to go to you, you can get some cool results from that. However, I'm going to pivot a little bit. You don't need a website.
No.
You just need a marketing strategy, whether that's digital or not. You can do a lot of cool things and really get your business out there as long as you have a strategy that you're working.
Can you give me an example of a strategy that wouldn't involve websites for marketing?
Yeah. Oh, here's one. You can skip like most of the social media platforms and just do Alignable, which is a referral based social
Okay.
network kind of thing. And it's more meant for business referrals and suggesting people. However, if you like using your, I know you guys use Forest, but what's the other one that's out there?
Vagaro?
Vagaro.
Mhm.
Whatever your main booking system is, connect that with your Alignable. And you can even make business cards around this if you wanted. But using Alignable and then using face to face networking, you could just through word of mouth. I think you probably have some hair technicians that would be able to do something like this because they already do word of mouth.
Right.
Like, um, So what I like to show people is like when it comes to digital marketing, you can take what you already do naturally in the real world and then find what it looks like in the digital world and just try to make it match. So like alignable would be one way of doing it. And then just making sure you have, especially in service industries, reviews would be big.
Yes. That's something that you push a lot for the
Yeah.
salon.
Yeah. And probably something we should still, work on more. But reviews can be hard and they're awkward, but they can be an afterthought.
Oh, remember that client? Oh my gosh. I
Oh,
know.
yeah, and then a problem.
Yeah. So we have some really great reviews on Google. I mean, we have our clients love us, but
Yeah,
then,
no.
but sometimes you can get one of those clients in that isn't so nice.
No,
So
yeah.
she was very specifically looking for free hair, like
Mhm.
said that she got bleach in her eye when she didn't get bleach in her eye. Um, just was kind of a pain just from the time she came in and sat down. And the stylist was amazing who worked with her and really tried to make it right, but there was just nothing you could do to make her happy. And we weren't going to give her free hair. You know, that's what she was.
No,
That's
no,
what she
right?
was going for. I don't know if you remember this, but
I do.
and then she left a really terrible review.
Yep.
Right?
And there was nothing we could do about it.
No.
No.
So, but what did we do?
So we left a comment
But yes, and we answered very
directly.
and kindly.
Yeah, kindly. Like, when I worked with restaurants, part of my background was I call myself a recovering pastor, but behind that, I did a lot of restaurants too, front of house management. And one of the things I would teach my team is that everyone that has a bad experience is like 10 times more likely to leave a review.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way like we're going to combat that is by capturing all the good experiences. And there's ways to do it that are approachable, that are honest, that are not weird.
Right.
And I know for me, I've been trying to relearn all this myself because hey, I want a review. But I think some of it too is just in your approach and your delivery, not making a big deal. One of the things I would teach servers, and then I'm trying to kind of still now do with myself and some like one of my counseling clients. He's a counselor, is what I mean by that. Is just to build in automated reviews into your system, whether it's your digital system or whether it's your checkout with like your front desk.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever a customer has a great experience and they express that, it's just a great natural time to be like, hey, reviews help us a lot, or wouldn't mind if you would share that in a review. Back to your problem client. Yeah, I think we basically told them we commented exactly what the situation was and said, sorry, we can kind of find any ends to this, but we would love to talk more if you want, or so. I don't know. Yeah, we try to end it nicely.
Yeah, we did. And we just kind of tried to diffuse it because I think it didn't take me, because I was really upset when I first read it because I don't want really bad reviews on there. But then all it took was me just researching who that person was too, a little bit on the internet. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And companies can pay, and there's like whole industries to manage reputation where you can try to combat with all that. But I think it's also just going to be part of it's humans a little bit, right?
Right.
I know for me, when I look at reviews and I see like a 1-star, I'm like, or especially when all that vitriol is coming off of it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that with a big old grain of salt because I doubt this is the only side in this story.
Right.
I know everyone really wants the 5-star, and like that's really is kind of important to try to maintain, but 4.9, 4.8 is still okay.
Yes.
And where you guys are working with so many people coming through your doors, it's actually quite amazing that I think this is your first not 5-star in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why it hit so hard too, because it's like we've been doing so good and getting so many great reviews. And I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
What is going on? You can't let yourself get discouraged either.
No.
When it comes to stuff like that, you just got to get back up on the horse and keep riding and
learn
keep doing what you do. Yep.
Yeah. That's one of the hardest things for me is like trying to keep the head up and learn what lessons, because it's like, there's just so much to learn sometimes. I was thinking, if you guys didn't have all those reviews in the first place, if we weren't capturing reviews, if we weren't talking about it and pushing them, that negative review would have had even more of an impact.
Right.
Not just on your overall review number, but also on your page ranking.
Right.
And this kind of goes back to, the hair and beauty industry. working with people, making sure that reviews are part of your process. They don't have to be on Google. One way I use reviews a lot is case studies, where I will have 1 to 2 page print offs, and I'll like take my idea, or I'm doing a suicide prevention event coming up in May with a couple organizations, and one of the ways I got that to happen was I took my previous trainings that I had reviews from, and I call it stacking credibility, where I proved I was effective here, and then took those reviews and like said, here's a thing I've done, and now I have an idea I want to do with it, and then kind of kept going with it. There's another person that Alex and I knows who she's a bookkeeper, and she helps people in a unique industry with their bookkeeping, but she has a basic website and she doesn't do much with it, and she has some social media, but she doesn't push it. Most of her marketing is word of mouth, and she travels around the country and lives in a van. And actually, that in itself is a brilliant model.
Right. It's because it's authentic.
Yeah,
I mean, I
and
think-
she performs too. I
Right.
don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Dottie?
No, I don't know
No.
her.
She performs burlesque.
Okay.
And
Well, then I should know her. But
should.
It's been a few years since I've really been in the performance world. I performed
didn't
a
you
couple
perform
weeks.
rec-
I did.
Yeah.
I performed at Tickle My Fancy recently. But
Yeah.
Katie King is one of my best friends, and she asked me to sing. But I have not been on a burlesque stage where I've actually done a sing strip.
Let's totally pivot and then talk about how, how's this an example of how someone in the hair and beauty industry could use other passions and their hobbies to both simplify their life
Mhm.
and like do more with it.
So I really, again, you talk about authenticity, and I feel like being authentic is really important. I feel like if you try to flex on something that you're not good at, or that's something that maybe you want to be good at, but you're
Mhm.
not really good at, that comes across.
Yeah.
I think that singing has been something I've done my whole life. I've always had some sort of a side gig with singing. And so that's just part of who I am at my core. So
Yeah.
when I share that, people resonate with it
Yeah, yeah.
because
Because you're not just a hairstylist
Right.
anymore.
right.
Yeah.
So
You're not just Kitty.
Right.
Even like one of my favorite experiences, one of the reasons why humans are so curious to me is like how much depth they have to
Mhm.
them. And I think this is like, in relationships, one of the reasons why long-term relationships work is you keep finding like, there's always that curious and that wonder and that like they're different.
Yep. The depth of a person. I think the hardest part, and one of the things that I'm kind of coming across, I've got this new project coming up called the Alchemy Project, and it's basically my assistance program. So when people come in to the salon and they're fresh out of school, or anybody that just wants to refresh like their basic skills, I need to know what you can do behind the chair before you can come into the salon and
Sure.
charge the prices that we charge here at Fabric. So it's basically just an insurance for me to know that all of my staff has the same level of experience underneath them. So one of the modules that I'm doing is on marketing, and it's going to be really focused on being comfortable in front of the camera.
I've been working on that all year. Can I talk about being comfortable in front of
Yeah.
the camera? So I was at a networking event last night and called Hellgate. This is one of my marketing things.
Okay.
And like I haven't posted on social media until I think last night for almost 2 months. And partly because I made the decision that I don't have time to, and a lot of my marketing right now is in networking.
Right.
And I also had to put more focus into some things I'm trying to launch as a business.
Right.
So I was at this networking event and I was announcing the suicide prevention event we're doing. And then also this program, this idea that hit me last year and I've developed, and now we're testing, and it's a model. It's a thing. And I was somewhere between like trying to be comfortable, because I've been on stage in front of thousands of people, and like I'm comfortable speaking then, like it's where I can come alive.
Mm-hmm.
But also like it was a unique position for me to be in, especially in contrast from a year ago, where I was doing this. And I was still kind of shocked how shy I was. And I was talking with someone afterwards and I mentioned it, and they're like, "Oh, you're not shy." I get tired of hearing people say that sometimes
Right.
because I'm such an introvert. Like,
Right.
no, I am shy, like, or can be. And I've been trying to be less, but I've been really aware of needing to be in front of the camera. And because of both the need for authenticity, because of the way marketing is changing,
Mm-hmm.
video is a big thing. Um, it's just one of the easiest ways that you can kind of break that fourth wall and connect with your
Mm-hmm.
audience. I think with AI in the world now, real matters.
It does.
And it's also one of the easiest things we can do. Like, yeah, you can use AI to replicate and to streamline and duplicate and to break down, to flesh out, but you can't really replicate the human thing.
No, you can't. And that's another thing, I do use a lot of AI to keep things easy and streamlined.
Yeah,
However, I always take what they give me and put it in my own little spin on it. I'll change
good.
so like the first few words, or I just change little things to make it more me and less computery, I guess,
Hmm.
so that I'm coming through a little bit more.
Yeah,
And, again, getting in front of cameras is not easy. It's kind of scary.
yeah.
But my motto has been my whole life, because if you have something worth doing, it's going to make you a little bit scared. If you don't do it scared, when are you going to do it?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my motto. Do it, and just do it scared.
Last year I made a reel about this idea.
Yeah.
Most of the reels I made for Stigma Marketing had to come from a place like it was an actual like idea, and I made
Mhm.
one last year about doing the things that scare you.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I was last year in life. I was like really tired. 3.5 years sober. Well, last year, 2.5 years sober. But I was working at Arby's before that. Nothing wrong with that, but don't know if you've met me. I'm not meant to manage fast food for the rest of my life. Wasn't the career path meant for
Right.
me. And actually what was going on behind that were all these avoidance patterns that didn't start with me, like, but I was definitely replicating. And so I was just tired of it. I was tired of
Mhm.
a lot of me. And so I just figured I was gonna do everything I was afraid of.
That's how you have to do it. You're not
Well,
ever gonna. You're not
I
ever
burned
gonna.
my boats.
Right.
Yeah, I remember writing that. Yeah.
Yep. You're not gonna get you. I think we all have a person inside of ourselves that we envision ourselves becoming. Correct?
Yeah.
Like, we have this ultimate version of who we can be and who we are, but you're never gonna actually go. You're not going to get to the next level of who you are as a human until this version of you dies.
Yes.
Like, you have to let go of all of those insecurities. You have to embrace your fear, and you have to go for what you're actually trying to do. And if you don't do that, you're going to just stay right where you're at.
Yeah, here, man, I'm goosebumps. I was squirming in my seat. Yes. So, okay, I mentioned launching a program,
Right?
and it's called Every Human's Journey. Yeah, okay, in the midst of this chaos of starting Stigma Marketing,
Mhm.
it was about this time that I finally decided to actually reboot Stigma Marketing development. I wasn't even 100% sure
I
then.
remember.
So I was doing some work for my counselor, who's a client. I said that wrong. My client, who's a counselor, on healthy masculinity. I was processing my own life. I was looking at what was going on in the world and processing still my life and trying to figure out what I was going to do with development. And I had this idea of taking what I call the subjective conscious holon, which is a human. But a holon is something that is simultaneously a single thing, but at the same time, part of something more. We all come from other humans. We make other humans. We interact with humans. We need
I
needs.
heard, just to interject really quick,
Mhm.
I heard the other day that each human has like 4,500 some ancestors that had to be there to create the uniqueness of who you are.
That's interesting.
4,000 people behind you in your ancestral line.
You know what's really interesting about that too is wait long enough, and you will be the ancestor of everyone. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's interesting.
Sorry, I
So
didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Go
that's
ahead.
fine. No, I love it. Yeah, because that's part of it, right? Like
Mhm.
it's history, where we come from. So we take this whole on, and we use some basic psychology and cognitive behavioral theory, and then we move them through Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey,
Okay.
which is a common framework found in human stories.
Yes.
And in that, there is the hero starts in the ordinary world, their comfortable world, but they're kind of aware that it's not what's meant to be normal. And then
Right.
they get the call to adventure, and then they refuse it. And then like there's usually some old person, like a Gandalf figure that like pulls them out of the ordinary world from the Shire, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to cross into the unknown world. They go through these tests and trials, and they learn about friends and allies. They have to learn about themselves. And they eventually, as they descend into the beast, they go through this ordeal where they're ultimately tested and they die in some way and then are reborn. This program that we then took some men through, which Eric went through.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you were talking about everything you were just talking about, I was getting goosebumps because like all this stuff is fresh in my mind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is what life is.
Yes.
It reminds me of what Brene Brown said. Vulnerability is the permission for us to be different today than who we were yesterday. Whether that's the way I think of myself or whether that's the way I think of others. What challenges you, right? What calls you?
Well, and also, if you aren't a little bit afraid to reach for your dreams, then maybe your dreams aren't quite high enough.
Yeah. I think sometimes we turn our dreams into nightmares.
Yes.
You know? I know I did.
Yes, that's very true because, it's just kind of like be careful what you wish for because you just might get it.
Yeah. So I think this all started about like flexing and with authenticity. There is, I'm finding confidence is really just about being able to be present, knowing who you are in the moment. And even if you are faking it, being able to own that you're faking it. Like there is no pretense. There is nothing else other than just you in the moment.
Yes.
Now, that takes work to get there, especially when it comes to skill sets and, in an evolving industry that you have to kind of keep up with.
Well, that's why I love the industry that we're in so much. And that's why I've loved working with you too, because our industries are kind of parallel. Because if I was doing hair the same way I was when I got out of beauty school,
Yeah.
I would be doing little old ladies under dryers, right?
Yeah.
So I love our business because you can really make whatever you want out of it, right? The only thing that they don't teach us is how to run a business. They teach you all about hair. They help you get your license. They don't teach you anything about marketing, or they didn't. I think that especially the new beauty school here that's in Missoula now, they're doing a really good job.
Yeah,
S&B. I want to interview them too for the podcast.
By the way, Jameis, they just had a kid.
I know they did.
Yeah.
Yes. Did they have a little girl or a little boy? I think it was a little girl.
I just got an email back from him. So
anyway, great people.
Yeah.
But they, beauty school traditionally used to just be like, get you in, get your license, and get you out, right? So I've had to meet people like you along the way and get taught little things so that I can keep growing. I have to realize that, like in 1996, and I decided I wanted to be a hair extension specialist. That was like a huge dream for me. I wanted to go to California and do hair in LA.
And how long before you did your first hair extensions?
Oh, 96, I learned about Great Lengths hair extensions, and I took their course, and I started doing hair extensions then. I've been a hair extension specialist since then. I had the opportunity probably about 4 years into my career as a hair extension specialist to apply for this job. You had to be in California because basically the studios, when they needed you to come, they would just call you and you'd had to go at a drop of a hat. And you would do hair for the movie studios and the TV stations and stuff. I remember when I interviewed for that, I literally threw up before I went in for my interview because it was such a big deal. I was like, this can't be happening. I'm only 4 years in and this is like my dream already.
Yeah.
Now my dream went farther than that. That was my dream up until then. But then once I experienced that gave me the self-confidence to keep moving and to move into education and move farther and take an assistant on.
Yeah.
But what it takes to become successful is repetitions of things that you are scared of.
Yeah.
You have to repeatedly do the things that you're scared of until you're comfortable with them.
Yep.
And then once you're comfortable with them, then you're going to look for the next rung that you're going to be scared of, right?
Yeah.
So it's all reps, all about the reps. And the reps are all about you. So really, ultimately, you are in charge of how successful you are going to be.
Speaking of using what you have for your marketing, like Stigma Marketing, even the name kind of is meant to convey this upside down nature. I start with stigma because like I went with my recovery. I really wanted to own the sobriety. I really wanted to own what I had to go through to get to where I'm at. And what I mean, I learned, man, I've learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was already gifted with people before. It was already my natural, like communicating and storytelling, creating curriculum programs, and I just had fun with it. And so, how was I going to do this with marketing? Well, I'm doing something with authenticity, so I have no choice
Right.
in some sense. Like I was like, okay, well, dang. Um,
Well, you're right. You don't have a choice though, because people, again, they can feel when you're authentic and when you're
mhm.
not. And you're not going to succeed if you're being inauthentic. If you're pretending to be something, somewhere, sometime, somebody's going to see through that.
Yeah,
And and it's going to flop and it's going to fail. You actually have to put in those damn reps.
yeah. Because if I were trying to have this conversation last year, it would be different.
Right.
I'm not at the same place, but it's been partly because I just kept freaking doing it.
Right.
Like if I have one strength, it's I can be tenacious,
Me too.
stubborn as hell.
I've got a lot of endurance too.
Yeah, I have endurance in some good areas. I'm trying to learn endurance in some other areas right now too. If I may, sitting at a desk at home has been a growth thing for me. It's been hard to sit behind a desk for hours on end and like day after day.
Right.
It feels like molasses, but it was also something I was just really aware of that I had to learn how to do. Partly just for focus, partly for flow. Yeah, no, I was in a different spot, but the only way I got to here was, yeah, just repetition and like doing the thing that scared me. If you listen to what I was saying before that time in my life, I talked about all the bullshit I could do. I talked about all the ideas that I had, and I was interested in helping people, and I would always like from a distance do things. So the thing that scared me was actually being responsible and actually doing it.
Right.
Where I struggle still in my business is a lot of this basics, yeah,
Mhm.
like from things like time management and last year budgeting and money was another growth area I had to get into. No, having a plan, having a system,
Mhm.
especially being the same, like having something that you can look at, whether it's on paper, whether it's on your phone or a program that you use. But all the areas that a person is weak in, all those areas that we don't know what to do with, that's where we can use other people and other tools.
Yes.
And I think we could pivot this back to marketing. Starting with websites, you can have a static website that does a good job and will get your results. But going back to marketing and the way things are now, what matters is content. And so, what I try to teach people is to focus on what you're already doing and then try to make content from that. The model that I'm playing with and trying to replicate and teach people with is making your website or whatever your main hub is that you convert people through, whether that's a website or whether that's a piece of paper you have that you call people through, whatever your strategy is.
Right.
But having a main content hub where you're creating content, and then from that main content, you can create like macro content. You can
Mhm.
use AI and all the simple tools that are out there to kind of create a simple manageable system that just naturally flows up. I was meeting with McKenna and we were talking about some hair extension clients that applied and they weren't able to get hair extensions for whatever reasons.
Right.
But we were talking about, it'd be kind of funny if we can get Jenny and Kitty into this room with like a couple of drinks and they could talk about the different people that weren't able to get hair extensions and what to do in those situations. And instantly McKenna was like, "Oh yeah, that would be really like," she used the word value based. And
Mhm.
me, like as a former teacher, I was like, "Yes,
Good job, McKenna.
yeah."
Yeah.
It's those kind of ideas. Even in your expert industry, people could probably look up a lot about hair extensions. It's probably annoying when people come to you thinking that they know.
It's it's really hard, because what we do is different, like,
Mm,
and hair extensions have a bad rep, you know
mhm,
what I mean? It's like if you unfortunately, our industry is not it's not, like, regulated. So,
mhm,
I put a lot of money and about 3 years of my time into my education for my hair extension method that I do.
yeah,
There are hair extension methods out there that you can get on the web, and you can take a 3-hour online course
yeah,
and be certified in hair
yeah,
extensions.
yeah,
And you can charge as much money as I charge.
mhm,
So sometimes people get, and people, the general public doesn't know that. They
Yeah.
don't know that you need to interview your stylist and ask them, what kind of education do you have? How long have you been doing this? How many heads of extensions have you done?
Yeah.
You know, they just assume if you're a hairdresser and you say that you're licensed in extensions, that you're going to know what you're doing.
Sure.
And that's not necessarily true.
No.
So people that try to do extensions and fail make us look pretty bad. So I feel like that's why I have the application process that I have. First of all, you go through the application and it makes you understand what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Secondly, it has all the questions on there that I'm going to need to know before I can actually sit in my chair and give you a price quote, right? I need to know what your hair looks like now and what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're going to need 1 row of 18-inch hair extensions or if you're going to need 3 rows of
Now,
28
and you might
inch hair
lose some
extensions.
people by making them go through that application, but by the time they get through it, you know they're ready.
I also have vetted them then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they can't make it through my application system or process,
you're
then
gonna have-
they're not the client for me.
Yeah, and you're less likely to get those 3-star or less reviews from
Right.
people who because they had a bad day.
Or they're just not educated on
Yeah.
what they're looking for,
No.
or they don't know what to ask for.
Yeah, and this is another like a way that whether you're a salon owner or hair extensions or nails or whatever,
Mhm.
look for those kind of topics and use that in your marketing.
Yes.
Use that. Talk about the things that the controversies. What makes your process different? One of the things why your Mirror website works is because you show the process.
Yes.
People don't have to guess.
Mm-mm.
They can see the reviews. They can see the before and afters. They and then they understand. They have the frequently asked questions, and by the time they get to the application, they understand that you guys are serious.
Yes.
That this is a process and that they're going to be committed to this, and they're going to have some great looking hair.
Right. When you're done, you can see the results that we get, and they're great. I am not here to beg anybody to sit in my chair.
No.
I am not here to discuss what my prices are.
Yeah.
I am here to create and provide wonderful hair, good conversation, and an amazing experience.
Yeah. Carl Jung said the secret to building wealth is providing value.
Yep.
And I really kind of latched onto that for my business is profit, but it's value based.
I did a reel a couple weeks ago. I think it said the beginning of it was you'll always be able to find somebody cheaper.
Mhm.
We're here to be worth it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I know you said begging. As a startup, sometimes, you have to take whatever thing you can get. I bet there's even some kind of correlate to that when it comes to starting in hair and beauty. Yeah, you take anything you can get. You sometimes do beg. I remember being way too eager and desperate for gigs and trying to keep cool in meetings. But I definitely got to the point of being tired of that. And so, like with my marketing, I just want to tell people up front, here's who I am, what I do, what I'm like, my approach, what I value. And if you can't work with me, okay.
Not everybody's meant to work together. That's why there's so many different hairstylists in town. We've got how many stylists do we have just in this building alone? And for every hairstylist, there's clients.
Yeah.
Because we come together. It just kind of, again, is kind of kismet. You find your hairstylist, you kind of stick with them.
I think of synchronicity
Mhm.
with kismet. I'm a bit surprised how much of a Carl Jung fan I am. He really kind of explained some things in ways that I was able to like, oh, that's what this thing is
Mhm.
that's going on with me. And when I was started actually experiencing synchronicities or like actually like the feelings and the epiphanies and the
Mhm.
like,
Things are coming together.
oh, it scared
Mhm.
the crap out of me, man. And it actually took me a while to kind of get used to. And now I can even be aware of when I'm ignoring them. It's like, nope, not right now. I'm not dealing with this.
Mhm.
I think pay attention, right? Like I know for me in my recovery journey, when I was in my second rehab, all the guys, they were all talking about what you can do for work. They all have their job aspirations.
Right.
And, there was even one guy who was talking about starting $1 million company, which didn't happen. And I remember just being so tired of my crap then, saying, I just know I missed so many opportunities when I was drinking that if I can just not freaking drink,
Right.
something will come along. And sure enough, yeah, things did come along. I didn't anticipate ASAM, inpatient development, or becoming a suicide prevention trainer, or working with veterans and networking for them in Vegas, or RBs. Like I didn't expect this path,
Right.
but I'm really grateful
Yeah.
for it. And I know I can't imagine it. I could actually, that's even more terrifying. I could imagine other ways this could have turned out.
Right.
Yeah, pay attention. If it scares you,
You should probably do it.
man, yeah, well, at least pay attention to it.
Right.
Like, why is it scaring you? Do something with it.
So we had Paule come in and do a suicide prevention class with everybody in our salon. I think it's really important in our line of work. I mean, in the 34 years that I've been doing hair, I've had several domestic violence victims in my chair. I've had
Ooh.
several people dealing with depression. I feel like it's very important that we know how to handle that and how to help our clients that are in these difficult positions. So that might be something that other businesses might want to reach out to you about if
100%.
they're interested in doing that. But why don't you just go ahead and tell them how they can find you and how you can help them?
Yeah, I offer a free 1 hour training, and my training is the free ones, or the longer paid ones are targeted for what I call gatekeepers. And gatekeepers are anyone that works with people on a regular basis. And this was one of those kismet moments. It was like I had this gatekeeper training. I had developed curriculum. I'd already done a year of this training for other people. And I just noticed that, like, you guys get trauma dumped on.
Mm-hmm.
You guys talk about how you're unpaid therapists.
Yes.
And this training helps break the stigma and gives basic tools, things to look for, what to do next, how to have those awkward conversations, make them less awkward, and then how to maintain boundaries. We go through some basic Q&A time, and part of the thing it's meant to do is just to make it less awkward for people. So if they want any information, we're having an event May 24th called
Okay.
Stopping the Stigma at Confluence Center in partnership with Suffer Out Loud.
Where's that at?
It's just down the street on Main.
Okay.
I think it's 115 Main.
Okay. On the other side of
Yeah,
Higgins.
on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far from here. And that is Memorial Day weekend. It's targeted for business owners and community leaders, because the idea is we can get these ideas into people like you that work with people like them, who then work with customers.
Right.
It could have at least hypothetically a small and measurable impact in how this helps people. But stigmamarketing.com or Paul at stigmamarketing.com if you're interested in free training.
Well, I can recommend it because we did it and it was great. So
Yeah,
I really appreciate you coming in and helping me out with this podcast. And
I'm glad we didn't get the first one recorded.
well, we got 31 seconds recorded.
We did, but it was practice. It was kismet.
It was good. It was kismet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm signing off until next time we see you. Take care and God bless. And don't forget to keep working on your business.